Oh, hello everyone. I've just been having some trouble logging in. Sorry about the delay. StreamYard got me looking crazy out here. It just kept saying error, and I was just like, what is going on? So I'm going to give you guys some time to come in before I get into today's commentary. I have a lot to say, so let's just hit that like button and then I'm going to give you guys some time to join the live. Hey y'all, good morning, good afternoon, wherever it is you're listening from. Hey everyone, I hope you guys are doing well. Please hit that like button as you guys come in. Hit that like button as you guys come in. So, I have a lot to talk about, and it's probably going to be unpopular opinion, but I feel like we really need to get into it. So, I know we've been talking a lot about Porsha and Shamea, and for good reason. I guess they have been giving us a lot of content in the season. So yes, it has been pretty crazy over here on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Now, I have a different opinion. I know a lot of people have been like coming for Portia and like constantly. But then the way I think about it, I've been asking myself this question the last couple of days. Why now? Why now? Why would Shamea wait this long to address these issues and do so on such a public platform? Why now? These are the questions that I have, right? And outside looking in, it looks like Shamia has all this built up anger, built up animosity towards Portia. Now, you guys know we've talked about some of the things that Portia has done that she could have changed and she could have done differently. We've talked about this. But I really want to talk about the Shamia piece because I feel like there's a lot about Shamia that I feel like a lot of viewers are missing. And if you guys remember, a couple of days ago, I talked to you guys about how I feel like Shamia is very manipulative. And after watching this recent episode, I absolutely think she is manipulating the audience. I think that she's had this built up, pent up aggression, animosity towards Portia for a long time and is now showing us truly how she feels about her so called friend. Because think about it. I want you guys to think back to the scene where they had the sit down, right? If you are friends with this person and this person is your ace, you've known this person for such a long time, you guys are gang, you guys are, have loved each other since childhood and all that kind of stuff, right? Is that the energy that you will bring to the conversation? Even if you're upset about your friend, yes, there are certain things your friend did wrong, and you would like to address it, is that the way that you address that conversation? Guys, am I the only one? And I want you guys to respond in the chat. Am I the only one who left that conversation thinking Shamea's energy at that conversation was off? It did not come across as trying to be reconciliatory. If you're trying to reconcile with your friend, that is not the energy you give your friend, in my opinion. It came across as you have all this vim, all this energy, all this venom towards your so called friend. That's the impression that I got. But I want to know what you guys think. So let me know in the chats. I'm going to wait. What did you guys think of Shamea's energy towards Porsha at that sit down? Was it aggressive? Was it overly confrontational? Did it seem that Shamea wanted a resolve? Or did it seem like Shamea wanted a reaction? I want you guys to put it in the chat. I feel like I'm going to wait. What do you guys think? So, did Shamea want a reaction? Why exactly do you think that Shamea approached the conversation in that way? Do you even think there was anything wrong with the way Shamea approached the conversation? Let me know in the chat. I personally feel that Shamea has had it in for Porsha for a while. Honestly, really believe that. Because you mean to tell me that you come to dinner or lunch or whatever it is to have a conversation with your so called friend, and that is the energy that you're giving your so called friend? That is very concerning, in my opinion. That is so concerning. I would never do my friend like that, especially someone that I've been calling my best friend, my best friend, my best friend. It's not right. It's like you have so much negative energy, which shouldn't be the case. Absolutely should not be the case. Hey, saying Shamea had so energy. I think she means so much energy. But yeah, there was just so much energy from Shamea. So much energy. It's like, think about it as if you are really trying to reconcile and have a good relationship with your friend, is that the vibe that you come with? Is that the energy that you come with? And also, did you guys notice when she said, I want to possibly salvage a friendship? I'm thinking, so are we friends or are we not friends? What is it that you're trying to salvage? If I was your friend that did something wrong and you're hoping that we can talk about it and move on, then you wouldn't even say that. I have disagreements with some of my friends every now and then, right? And when we do, it's a conversation. We have a conversation. I say how I feel. She says how she feels. I think about what I could do differently. She talks about what she could do differently. And we reach some sort of resolve, right? But what I would never say to so called a friend of mine would be for me to be saying, oh, I want to possibly salvage a friendship. That if I say that, then that means I feel like we're no longer friends. And that's what I want people to pick up on. It feels like everyone is in this phase where they hate Porsha. And I know the wheels turn. So I'm not surprised. People go through moments where they're like, nah, we don't like Porsha. Da 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 da. I get it. But at the same time, if you forget your hate for Porsha for a second and think about it, why is Shamea saying, the so called person I say, my best friend, my best friend, my best friend, why is she saying that she wants to salvage a friendship? That tells me she doesn't believe there is a friendship to begin with. And if you don't believe there's a friendship to begin with, then why are you playing in our faces? Why are you playing in our faces? Why are you making it seem that you have this relationship with Porsha and you guys are besties, and now people are out here looking at Porsha in a certain way when you don't even consider her a friend? Let's be clear. Shamea should have addressed this a long time ago. Think about it. You guys may not, like, a lot of people have been like on this hate Porsha bandwagon. And I get it, Porsha has been unlikable this season. But if you peel back the layers a little bit and pay attention, you would see that even when she was bringing all this energy to Porsha, Porsha was very much like, okay, it was like Porsha was just thinking, why are you coming at me about issues that we have discussed previously a while back? Why are you bringing this to me? It's like you could almost tell that that was what the vibe was, right? It's like, why are you bringing this to me? If I put myself in that situation, let's say I've been out here talking to a friend, we've been keyking, and you're on the show that I've been on for years. And then the next thing, you're out here talking to me about our friendship that I didn't even think was fractured because I was like, yeah, we're not talking as much and stuff, but I don't think there's any issues. But then, no, then finding out that you have all these issues that I'm not privy to that you're discussing with other people, that will not make anyone feel good. And I know some people will be like, oh, Shamea took some accountability, blah, blah, blah. Did she? Did she take any accountability? I don't believe she did. Because what I remember was her saying, well, maybe I shouldn't have, I wouldn't have wanted it to get to you this way. Maybe that's not how you take accountability. Because you are the one who went to discuss this with the newbies. And now the friendship has become a topic of conversation. Angela Oakley said something recently that I'm like, I feel like, because I've been thinking about it for a while. I've been thinking about it. Why now? Why did Shamea wait so long until she got on Real Housewives of Atlanta to play like this in our faces? That's how I feel. Because it's like, if you had this much vim or energy towards your so-called best friend, then why did you come on the show and introduce you know or talk about her as your best friend? You could have just left it as like, yeah, we're cool, we used to be best friends, we're not as tight, nothing happened, mutual respect. Simple. You could have said that. Instead, you were acting like you were riding for her, knowing fully well she's a lot more calmer in group settings. It feels like Shamea probably hated the way things went down with Phaedra, her, and decided, now I'm going to come to your spot where I think is your spot and I'm going to try to play you. That's what it's given. It's like when somebody has unresolved anger towards you, things that they haven't talked about, right? And it's like anything you say, act, or do, they run with it. Now, first of all, let me say this. Porsha's energy at the dinner or whatever, the talk or whatever it was definitely given, I don't want to have this conversation. Why are you doing this? Even I feel like at a point she even mentioned, like, why are you doing this? I feel like it came across a little bit like being blindsided a little bit. Like, why are we having this conversation about things that we already squashed years back? Why are you playing into it? Why are you playing into the hands of what these people would want to see from us? And I think that's what it was. Because at some point, Portia literally told her to stop. If I'm having a conversation with my friend and I'm pouring out my feelings, how I feel, whatever, and my friend is there telling me to stop and stuff, and I know the things that she is going through, I would be like, I need to cut her some slack. She's definitely going through something this second. I just need to chill and just like let her get through whatever it is that is on her mind that she's going through. Maybe now is not a good time. You could even say to her, I know you're going through a lot right now. Is now a good time for us to talk about it? Should we pick another time? Should we talk about it a little bit later? You're allowed to do that, right? But I feel like I know a lot of people are like, yeah, she got out what she really felt, but I don't think she went about it in the right way. I think that it made her look crazy. It made her look unhinged. I think that people actually started to see Shamea in a different light as a result of this conversation. Yeah, there's still some people. Bear in mind, first of all, let me put this disclaimer. I do like both of them. That's just by the way. So I don't really have a skin in the game. But I'm paying attention to some of the things that I feel like are not being picked up, especially by other YouTubers, because I feel like there is so much more that we are not, or a lot of people are not paying attention to. Because when I'm in the comments, a lot of people are so enamored and they're like, Shamea this, Shamea this, Shamea that. But I'm like, can you guys see how Shamea is playing the audience? Shamea went and had a conversation with people that are not Porsha's friends, people that are newbies. She could have had a conversation with Cynthia about Porsha, but she didn't. She went to newbies, said, spoke all of that, and then when it came back, she was saying, yeah, Porsha is choosing to act on it. What has Porsha done on the show that gives us the impression that she's choosing to act on it? Instead, Shamea has been the one running her mouth constantly, talking to everyone who cares to listen about this whole Shamea and Porsha drama. Please hit that like button as you guys come in. But it feels like Shamea has been the one running her mouth to anyone who cares to listen. Anybody, and I mean anybody. Every show she goes on, she's talking about it, talking about it, talking about it. It has become so much of her storyline that it's like people want to see who you are outside of Porsha. But somehow, your first season of getting a peach, you made it all about Porsha. And it's given Porsha is going to come back next season because it's like you've made this whole experience all about Porsha. Porsha this, Porsha this, Porsha that. Porsha has not even had to do much this season, but everything still feels like she's intertwined in some way. And I hate this for Shamea because it's like, Shamea, girl, this is your opportunity to shine, completely out of not necessarily saying anything about Porsha, living your own truth, let your personality and energy shine through. You've always you've always been seen as, like you say, bestie, right? And the thing about it is, it's okay to have besties. I have besties as well, but I have my own personality. I stand on my own outside of anybody, and when they are with me, then it's like, yeah, we have good energy together, but then you can still stand on your own. And I feel like it just feels like Shamea can't stand on her own by herself and needs her besties validation for everything that she does. It's like, you're already on the show, you're already on her, or on a platform that she has been an OG on. What more do you want from her? Do you want her to literally like have to hand you and drag you and, spoon feed you and get you? Like, I don't get it. She's done exactly what she needed to do as a friend. Let's be clear. The way she has been making it seem is almost like Candy has been the one supporting her, trying to get her on the show. Well, they didn't bring you on the show when Candy was there. They only brought you as a friend of. But they brought you on the show when Porsha came back, right? And interestingly enough, Andy has actually been saying that Porsha has always been very supportive of Shamea. Imagine that. Imagine Mr. Andy Cohen, literally saying that Porsha has always been supportive of Shamea. Interestingly enough, even Cynthia said, Porsha, I never said anything that comes across as not wanting Shamea on this platform. So it's like nothing of the sort has been said. So it's almost like, why are you creating this narrative in your head? And don't get me wrong, I'm going to reiterate this for anyone listening. I am not saying that Porsha has been a wonderful friend to Shamea. I feel like at different times, I feel like they have not always been great friends to each other. I feel like there's been times where Shamea has been a good friend. There's been times where Porsha has been a good friend. I feel like there's times when Porsha has been a bad friend, same as Shamea. Nobody is perfect. And I feel like their relationship has never been perfect. There has been cracks in that relationship for a long time. So I don't really agree with a lot of people who say the show broke the relationship down, da 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 da. I think it amplified it because it gave them an opportunity to see the writing on the wall. It gave them an opportunity to watch themselves back, to see the confessionals. Because think about it. In the confessionals, I thought the confessionals was very interesting. Shamea also said that, well, she's open to a friendship or reconcile. And I'm just like, okay, girl, is this your friend or this ain't your friend? Because what are we talking about? You're in her face, and I know the confessionals are filmed later on. I get it. But it's like, where is all that like energy, right, coming from? Why do you have so much vim? It's given. You've waited so long. You've hatched out a plan. It's given you wanted Porsha's spot on the show, and you thought, I'm gonna come on the show like her bestie because, that gives me a good footing to be on the show, and I'm gonna snatch her a peach. That is what it is coming across as. Sad, but that is what it is coming across as. And we've seen a lot of examples of people who bring certain people onto the show and then lose their opportunity. Let's think about Mariah and Quad, right? Just think about it. Because I don't understand why this is your best friend, but you're in their face and you have this much energy, this much aggression towards them. It's very weird to me. I love how Porsha was not paying her dust. Porsha was just there like, don't do this. Don't do this. Now, did you guys pick up on what Shamea said when she said, um, you don't be like this. I just want the Porsha that I know off camera, da 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 da. Girl, she is going through a lot. Simon has been dragging her left, right, center, any direction he can drag her, allegedly, okay? I don't want anybody coming for me. Has been dragging her, right? Allegedly. So it's like at some point, where is the love and light for your friend? Where is the hugs? Where is the baby? I know you're going through a lot right now. We do have some things to discuss, babes, but we'll have to talk about it later on. Or, like, do you feel like you're in a good space to even talk about it? These are things that if my friend is going through ish, I put whatever it is I want to talk about on the back burner, or I ask them if they're open to having the conversation. I'll give you an example. There was a time I was having a conversation with one of my dearest friends, and it was a bit of a she didn't like something, I didn't like something. I'd expressed to her what I didn't like in the past. She expressed to me at this point what she didn't like, right? So I was like, okay, cool. But I was then trying to explain to her where I was coming from because I felt like there was some misunderstanding about the position, right? So I was trying to explain, okay, where I was coming from on some things, and she wasn't able to hear it in that moment. And I realized she's going through ish. This is not like she's going through ish, and maybe now is not the good time. Maybe now is not the right time to address that. So guess what I did? We talked about it, and I said, you know what? I will bring it up at a later time. It seems maybe now is not a good time. We agreed and we left it at that. Right? So I feel like there are times where if reconciliation is truly what you want and this is your friend, there are times where you have to be sensitive to where your friend is at, sensitive to what they're dealing with. There are certain times where you have to ask the questions like, oh, honey, is now a good time? Because I know you got a lot going on. And let your friend be like, do you know what? Yes, babe, like, let's talk about it and stuff. And then address it. That's what friends do, right? You consider your friends' sensitivities, you care about their feelings, and then that's why you decide when to address certain things, right? But I don't believe in holding onto stuff, not addressing it, acting out, talking to other people about how you're feeling and not your best friend, waiting until you get onto her platform as a full peach older to then unload the clip, to then say everything it is that you've had that you wanted to say about her. It feels like a pile up. When even in counseling, right? When you go to like counseling, they usually, especially when it's like relational counseling, so like marital, premarital counseling, whatever, right? They'll always tell you when you're dealing with issues, address one issue at a time. It's not the time to be saying, and back then, years ago, you did this to me, and there was something you said years ago that I didn't like. They always say, address it issue by issue. If you're addressing it and you're bringing up everything this person has done, then it feels like this person's like, well, dang, how long have you been holding this for? And if you feel this way, are we even friends? Right? So I can imagine that that's how Porsha felt. She probably felt like, yo, I slept off thinking like, okay, we're not fully good, but to hear you be saying all of this, like this is extreme. This is a pile on. This is too much. And I feel like even when she said stop, right? Because it felt like Shamea wanted a reaction. It was like boom, 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 right? If somebody wants a reaction and the person is not giving you a reaction, if you want, that's what it was given. It was given, Shamea wanted a reaction, wanted a scene, and Porsha was not going to give it. Porsha was like, nah, I'm not coming to come and mess up my job. This is my main source of income. I'm not about to mess up my bag. That's what it was given. Because it's like, imagine that much energy and that much venom. And this girl is just like, what are we doing? I'm just out here trying to have a conversation so we can clear things up and be good. Not go into and be getting into it and have all this venom. I definitely think Shamea has gone under the radar for a long time, but it's interesting to see people are starting to clock her. I started to like read a lot of comments on like blogs, right? And a lot of people, and someone said something and I really want to really agree with it. The person said, so let me get this straight. Shamea talks behind her bestie's back. It got back to Porsha, and now Shamea is mad at Porsha for believing and being hurt by what was said, when in fact, she did say it. Shamea is allowed to have feelings about what happened in the past, but to just now bring them up and not to Porsha, then get mad at her is weird. Completely agree. If I could like that comment 100 times, I would. Because it's given, how can you be cool about it? I think we're like cool. I think everything is good. But then you have all these strong feelings that you're not telling me, that you're not talking to me about. But deep down, you're just out here casually talking to everybody. And now you're upset that I'm upset that I found out that you were talking behind my back. That is crazy work. That is some manipulative gaslighting ish. And the fact that I feel like the audience has been gaslit, audience has been bamboozled, is completely shocking to me. It's completely shocking to me. You talked about the friendship. Porsha hasn't really been out here like going left, right, center through the blogs and talking about Shamea. Nah. I saw one video. Now, of course, recently there was a thing where she posted on her store on her page, but aside that, it's always been nothing. Nothing much has been said. But it's like Shamea is crying everywhere. It's like, girl, what is this? Like, I understand you being hurt, but to this extent about something that you started is crazy work to me. And for me, I'm shocked that people cannot see that Shamea started this all. Like, I get it. I get it. You want to be out here talking to whoever you want to talk to. I get it. But at the same time, you can't then throw the rocks and then hide your hands and then try to flip it on the next person. The other thing that made me feel like, Shamea, girl, I see you. I see you. We see each other. Is when Porsha then said, what can I do? I feel like she wanted a fight. She wanted to go head on with Porsha. Because she's probably thinking, the way for me to secure this peach, honey, I need some drama. So she's probably thinking, let me go against the fan favorite. I actually feel like Shamea wants the fame and the fan favorite whatever title that a lot of people have had for Porsha for a long time. Now, is Porsha now the fan favorite? No, I feel like Angela is currently the fan favorite. But when Porsha gets back to being all uppity, upbeat, sorry, I'm sure people will get back into loving her again. I think at the moment she's just very heavy, and people can see that, people can feel that. But at the same time, I feel like when Porsha said, "So what do you want me to do?" Right? She then starts going on and stuff. And I thought for a second, if my friend, and bear in mind that there's accountability on both ends. If my friend is taking accountability and asking me what I can do, what she can do differently, after telling her, I would then say or ask her, oh, and what is it that I can do for our friendship? Just because you think you're a good friend does not mean you're a good friend to that person. And I need people to understand. You can say, yes, I'm loyal, I'm a good friend, I'm a this, but maybe your friend wants you to call them more. Maybe your friend wants you to not be friends with people that are sworn enemies of theirs, right? Maybe your friend doesn't want you out here speaking to people who constantly make videos about them talking negatively. Maybe. So it's like, these are the things that I feel like Shamea could have literally asked if she cared, girl, what can I do differently? Or is there anything that I can do from my perspective to make the relationship better? But she didn't do that because in her head, she feels like she's always been a good friend to Porsha, and Porsha has not always been a good friend to Shamea. However, there are examples that show that Shamea has also not been a good friend to Porsha. Let's be clear. You becoming friends with Candy knowing that they weren't really cool at the time is giving something a shady friend would do. You letting Kelly speak about Porsha in that way, yeah, you low-key corrected it but didn't do much, right? How many times has Kelly talked to you about Porsha that we've seen? I'm away. You don't shut it down. You listen to what she has to say about it. Do you know if that makes Porsha feel some type of way? Do you know that you are also coming across as being not being a good friend? Or is it because you feel like, oh, I'm always riding for you? You are doing stuff because that's what you want to do. Did she ask you to do these things? Or are you doing these things to attach yourself to her so that you can feel relevant on the show? These are the questions that I have. And Shamea, if you listen to this, I'm not coming for you, girl. I'm just trying to ask the questions. So if you have answers for me, leave it in the chat because I really want to know. Because it's given you're trying to attach yourself to your friend's drama so that you can have and be involved in conversations because you know your husband does not want to film. These are the things that when I sit back and I step back from, okay, everything, and I start to think, then I start to ask questions. Because then now I'm thinking, if we're all good and all of a sudden we've been friends, we've been cool, all of that, we're now on the show together, and now you have this much energy for me, I would also be like, girl, what is going on? Like, I thought we were cool. What is this? So I just feel like it's very much given. Shamea wanted to come on the show, attach herself to Porsha, but Porsha is a bit of a lone wolf. She's a lone wolf. If you see the way she navigates the group, bear in mind, like, she's practically an OG, right? She's been on the show for such a long time. She knows how she needs to navigate the relationships throughout the group. She can't be in teams as such. You need to be able to navigate the dynamics between the groups so you can have multiple people you're talking to, multiple people that you're filming with. If you're team this, and then you're now fighting Shamea's battles, you're not going to be able to be out here filming with Angela. You're not going to be out here filming with the rest of the girls because you would be like, fighting Shamea's battles. No. And Shamea, you're coming into her turf, into her territory. She has a way in which she has been running things in her territory. It's not now for you to come and then expect her or expect you guys to be tied to the hip. That doesn't make sense to me. Like, am I saying that, oh no, because my best friend, da, da, da? But I'm thinking, if I'm working somewhere and I've been working there for a couple of years and you come in, I already have my dynamics with the group. I have a way in which I navigate the group. Me at work may be different or slightly different from me at home. The me that you know outside of work, but I'm at work, honey. We're in the same working environment. There is a way I show up at work, right? That doesn't mean I want to, like, for instance, maybe she don't want to be on camera talking as crazy as she would because she knows how these things get. But maybe you want to be completely unfiltered and she's like, girl, no. You don't pay me well enough for that because if I'm completely unfiltered, then I'm going to lose a lot of the fan base, potential to do other things. She has been playing this game for a long time and it has worked for her in this way. You cannot expect to come into her turf as a newbie, new peach holder, I mean, and then expect her to be tied to your hip fighting your battles. That is not going to work. I feel like you've done the best thing, I guess, which is pairing or teaming up with a newbie so that you guys can be so-called quote unquote best friends. Because then you guys can bounce off each other. Because for some reason, it feels like Shamea needs to be in a team. Shamea needs that person right next to her, which is so weird because it's like, girl, I understand wanting friendships, but everybody needs to learn how to be on their own, honey. If you need to go to solo trips constantly for a year to learn to be in your own space, to be on your own vibe, in your own time, to learn to be self-reliant, I honestly think Shamea could benefit from that because it's really given like, I need to be in a pair. I need to be tied next to somebody. Because now you're on YouTube out here being like, my bestie, hey besties. Okay, fine, you can call people hey besties. I call you all lovelies, don't I? Right? But she's also now calling Kelly her best friend. I'm like, how long have you been best friends for? Interestingly enough, Shamea calls herself Atlanta's best friend. I'm like, girl, I've always wondered about people who are best friends to everybody. Because it's like, for you to be best friends with everybody, I don't know. I'd be looking at it a little bit suspiciously, personally. Because I'm just like, I understand being cordial with everybody, bantering with everybody, having a good time, but being best friends with everybody, I be side eyeing. I don't know about y'all, but I be side eyeing people. Anytime I see anybody that is always that is best friends with everybody, I'm like, okay. One to watch. Absolutely one to watch. Because then you're just thinking, like, are you telling me that every single person that you meet in this life is your vibe? No, like, are you telling me? It's impossible. I really don't believe that. So I genuinely think like Shamea had plans for the season. Shamea was like, girl, I am gonna secure that peach. Do you hear me? She wanted to secure that peach by all means necessary. And she figured, what's the best way to secure that peach but by coming for one of the OGs? And who better to do that than her friend? She played on all of the things that people have been talking about for such a long time, and she ran with it. And from the looks of it, it is working because now a lot of people are very much anti Porsha and very much, oh, Shamea, we love us some Shamea. I'm like, you can like them both, but don't drink the Kool-Aid. It is clear that there is obvious manipulation going on here. Obvious. Why did you have so much energy for your best friend if you're really just trying to reconcile? There is no way I will be out here in front of my best friend being like, and you did this, and you did this, and you did this, and you did this in front of an audience. And then I'm going to bring in your mama into it as well and say, well, yeah, that's how you told me this. She told you that off camera. Why did you, maybe she didn't want to address it on camera. Why did you feel appropriate to bring it on camera? Including you talking about, oh, yeah, I said, let's have this energy and da da da. But you said, oh, you don't want to bring that unless they're paying you extra. Why would a friend bring that up? Do you want her to lose her job? Because Bravo are then thinking she doesn't want to show her reality. Right? What happens if Bravo thinks, oh, well, she doesn't want to show her reality, so let's cut her loose? That's not what a friend does. A friend does not like throw jabs, right? Especially at work. Jabs that could land you your spot if they really want you to keep that spot. It's given, I've always wanted what my friend wanted or what my friend has. And now that I have what my friend has, I have no need for that for my friend. It's like I've sat down and I've waited for so long. I have chilled, waiting for my perfect time to come to get back at her. And now I have the perfect opportunity. I'm now a peach holder. We're now at work. And when she was crying at the after show talking about like, if I knew that this was going to happen or whatever, if she didn't want me on the show, I would have like I wouldn't have come on the show. Girl, please. Bye. I do not believe you. I do not believe that you would have missed out on the opportunity to be on the show because of Porsha. I don't believe that for a second. I don't believe that for a second. It almost feels like maybe you're used to like just being in everything Porsha is in. That you were just like, you couldn't just let her have this one thing for herself. Like, oh no, we'll do it together. The bestie duo. It's like, girl, have your own identity outside of Porsha. outside of a friendship. Because then if it's not Porsha that you latch onto, are you going to latch onto someone else? It's like, where does this need for friendship to this extent, where does it come from? Where does that heavy dependence on someone else come from? That's what I want to know. That is what I'm trying to figure out. So if any one of you guys have the answers, let me know in the chat, because I personally believe that it's like, that's the energy Shamea gives me. It's giving, I want a friend by all means necessary. And I don't get it. It's like, how much validation do you require at the hands of Porsha or anybody? Why? Instead, you're out here at the table looking unhinged, having a conversation with somebody who looks like she cannot be bothered. Looks like, please, what are we even doing? She looked like, girl, why are you even disturbing me with this nonsense? We don't talked about it years ago. Why are you bringing this up? That's the energy that Porsha had. And I'm just like, but it was like, Shamea was like, no, we're going to have the conversation. It's a girl. She got up, she walked away, she came back, you were still there. It's like, girl, why? Why do you want her friendship so bad? If she is such a bad friend, if she is such a horrible person, why are you out here crying every single second about your relationship with her? Leave her. Leave her. Leave the relationship. Focus on your new bestie, Kelly, or whoever your new bestie is now. Like, focus on those people. There is no reason to be constantly bringing it up. I am tired of the storyline. Genuinely, I'm tired of the storyline. Now, you guys know I love friendships, and I always hope for reconciliation. So I do hope they reconcile. But I will say, even if you lot reconcile, I will be looking at you both, but in particular Shamea in this instance, sideways if I were Porsha. Because it's like, you hold all of that against me, and then you come into my space that I've been rooting for you to come into to then bring it up. That's blindsiding. That's literally slapping me in the face after I've pushed for you to get an opportunity. That's an ambush. Porsha called it. That's an ambush. Imagine bringing somebody to your spot and they try to trick you out of your own spot. That's crazy work. That is nasty work. And I know a lot of people are probably going to listen to this and drag me, but I said what I said. I really believe that. These are my opinions, right? So you guys are allowed to disagree. Just keep it respectful in the chat. Or if you guys want to come up, come up. But it's just like, I feel like it's very much, it gives very calculated. It gives, this is what I've wanted to do and I'm doing it. That is what it gives. So I'm not falling for the innocent act, Shamea. You are equally responsible in the demise of you guys' relationship. You are both responsible for the demise of that relationship. If anything, I'm looking at you even a little bit more sideways, because Porsha, we know, okay, this is how she's been rolling. But you tolerated it. You sat with it. You guys said you squashed it. You forgave her for these things. Only to bring it up again and use it against her when it was convenient for you. It's like you took all that ammunition, then you're like, oh, the perfect time is now. Let me offload everything on her. And for that, I think that is definitely a very horrible way to act as a friend. So you're not as good of a friend as you think you are, in my opinion, from what you're giving us on the show, from what we're seeing on the show. You may be a good friend in real life, but from the way you are approaching the situation, it ain't looking good for you. That's my opinion about it. You guys can argue with me if you want. I do want to shift gears a little bit to talk about Drew, Sedora, and her mother. I did think it was interesting that Drew was getting really upset and then alluded to not really knowing that there's been a difference in her children. I'm like, that is very odd to say because wasn't she talking about in a previous episode about her daughter, and when it's time for her to leave, her daughter just starts behaving a certain way? Like, or did I make it up? Because I'm thinking, Drew, why are you crying? Like, this is the, don't get me wrong, you're allowed to cry, but why are you saying that you never knew this was going on with your children when I feel like you've told us this before in a previous episode? Unless maybe the way they edited it is different and they've had, or they had this episode before that one, but then they edited differently to fit it into this particular point. I do not know. It is possible. We know they like to edit. But I think for me, I just thought it was a little weird for me. For me, that was the vibe I got. It was given a little bit weird. It was very much given, yeah, it was given like, I can't believe that this is you saying that you didn't know this before, right? Especially if it's your mother who has just come into town to spend time with your children, is able to spot it straight away. I just really struggle to believe that this is your first time seeing or noticing that with the children. That is the bit that I would say genuinely got me. Um, but maybe that's not what she meant, because you know sometimes also when by the time everything is edited, everything just comes out so differently from the way you intended. So maybe that's that. Maybe that's what it's genuinely about. So I'm gonna give grace on that. But in all honesty, the vibe I got was like, girl, are you saying you didn't know this before? So what were you telling us about in one of the previous episodes? So that was the thing I felt about Angela. Not Angela, Drew. Speaking of Angela, Angela did say something that I completely agree with when it comes to Shamea and Porsha. Angela said she feels like Shamea is manipulative, and basically, long and short is she feels like Shamea was trying to get on the show and was playing the long game. And I feel like that too. I genuinely feel like she sat in wait. It's like when when a hunter has seen its prey, you lie in wait, you watch the prey for a long time. You scan the surroundings. You're like, okay, let me see, is the prey going to move? I need to hit the target ASAP, right? And I feel like that's what it's given. It's given that Shamea has waited in line, probably been waiting for years, plotting and scheming, maybe even talking to Candy about it, who knows, right? Plotting and scheming for a long time, waiting, lying in wait for what she thinks is the perfect opportunity to get Porsha in a cage. I feel like we always talk about, we love her awesome Angela and the way she reads the girls and all of that, and it comes because she's seasoned and a little older. Do we trust her wisdom here when she's telling us what she's seeing with Shamea and Porsha? Bear in mind that she has spent time with both of them. With both of them. So I feel like the next time, you know, people want to be like, yeah, this, and ride for Shamea, just think a little bit. Think a little bit. Observe the things that are being done. Listen to the things that are being said. I actually went because I was like, before I come to you guys, I want to make sure that I'm sure about what I'm saying, as this is my opinion. right? Of course, I can't be 100% sure because, I'm not living with them, but I want to be sure that this is what I'm seeing. Like, I watched it so many times, the scene between Porsha and Shamea. I watched it so many times. I've been thinking for a while about like what they have going on, but I watched it so many times. I legitimately watched that scene so many times because I was like, I want to make sure I'm not missing verbal cues, non-verbal cues, right? I also want to make sure I'm not missing anything at all, right? Said in confessionals, said that I feel like can be important to talk about, right? So I say all of that to say the way everybody has been moving, Shamea in particular, is giving, we see you, Shamea. We see you, Shamea. Now, I did also want to talk briefly about Angela and Charles Oakley. Honestly, their relationship, there is just something about their relationship that is very, I don't know how to explain it. It gives lack of affection. Love may not live here anymore. Like, I hope I'm wrong, right? But it really gives that sort of vibe. And I'm just like, it could be like, Charles is like old school or whatever, doesn't believe in, public display of affection. But think about it. Even when he was asked if he loved her, he couldn't even answer the dang question. I'm like, what do you mean? Sir, you mean you can't answer a simple question about whether or not you love your wife? Even if you said obviously, what kind of question is that? Like, people would have been like, okay, all right, Charles. But you didn't even say that. You were just looking like, please, why are you asking me this? Like, I'm just like, what is going on, Charles? You're not going to beat the allegations that love does not live here. Behaving like that. You're not going to beat those allegations, sir. Like, no. It wouldn't cost you so much to literally say to your wife, or to say in front of your wife, yeah, I absolutely love my wife, right? Any affection, something, hand holding. She asked you to give her a kiss, and I hated that because it just felt like, imagine having to beg your husband for affection. That is horrible. I don't wish that upon anybody, to have to beg your husband to love on you. That is painful to watch. And so I don't know what's going on with Angela over there, but if she likes it, we love it. That is all I want to talk to you guys about today. Please hit that like button if you guys haven't already. I am probably going to come live. Actually, I'll probably come live later tonight. Also this evening, probably it will be later tonight for me. I want to talk to you guys about like basketball wives. So yeah, let's come back and talk about that. Maybe we may even like talk about Diddy if I can stomach it. But yeah, I will come back online and we'll talk about basketball wives. But please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Let me know what you guys think in the live chat, in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next live. Speak to you later. Take care. Speak to you later tonight. Bye.